We go to Ejari, and the Ejari man, he goes on the system and says property doesn't exist.
Tell me about, so 2015 you came, you mentioned a little bit about what it was like going to Jumeirah Park. What's been the biggest changes? Obviously, it's like a new city now, but what have you really felt the difference with this?
For me, I think the network. At that time, I remember if you were in Business Bay, you had to do viewing in DIP, for example. It's like an hour and a half, traffic, and there was no network at all. So I think the road network is expanding.
Yeah.
I think faster than the city in a way, because you go to places where the roads are there, but they still haven't developed.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the facility and ease of business as well. At that time, getting visa, so there was no investor visa. They were starting to think of this golden visa, but it didn't exist. People who were creating companies because they didn't have a job, have property, but the only way to get a job was to create a company.
Yeah.
And obviously they needed these offices to open. So I think this was one of the things. Obviously for me, the main challenge is that at that time, availability and the owner's mindset was a lot different than today.
Yeah.
Today, the owners are only interested in opportunity in the market. They don't really think long-term, the newcomers. You have these owners that bought and they will never sell. It's like a long-term plan. But today, they're like, okay, I buy today, I want to sell tomorrow. It's not really the same type of people that you can have a conversation because they are building wealth and they are focusing on real estate investment. So I think the mindset changed in a way that people were buying full floors saying, okay, I'll buy this, it will stay in my family. We're going to make for 20, 25 years money on it. And price goes up, price goes down, it doesn't matter because we make money from the rent.
Got it.
So they forget about the cost of acquire.
Yeah.
They just look at, okay, this many years, we did this many millions, minus what we paid, this is our income.
Got it.
Where people now today, they think, okay, if I buy 1,000 per square foot, I want to sell 2,000 per square foot tomorrow. So, yeah, but what's important in Dubai, where you make money, is the rental.
Yeah.
Capital appreciation is like this.
So you think people have lost that perspective just because of the last few years, I guess?
And they hear a bit everything and nothing as well.
Yeah.
So when you tell them numbers compared to what they hear, there's like a clash. What you heard is not, it's like a macro number. If you go microeconomics between towers to towers, it changes a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're taking like headlines, but not looking at the details of.
It's like, you go on the social media, you see the title, you say to your friend, this happened, say, did you read?
Yeah.
It's like 2 pages to read.
So much. So much that they're not really.
So I think the market as well changed in a way that you have lots of agents coming into that market.
Mm-hmm.
And back to my experience, I think they should have a special card to do commercial.
Yeah.
Because it's not the same. I think when you do the RARA test, you have only residential question.
Yeah.
Now they introduce commercial question to the test, which I find surprising because they don't explain to you.
Yeah.
So they expect people to know something that they never learned.
Yeah.
Where the commercial people are saying, this is basic for me. So I think it should be 2 different markets, 2 different cards.
For sure. Seems like such an easy, thing to change and improve.
Yeah.
With some small changes, you could really improve the quality of the test and
but you need people. It's I'm facing this these days. Sometimes you go even to the land department.
Yeah.
And you have a knowledge that they don't have because they don't do anymore. Yeah. Like we have a client that has a BVI company.
Yeah.
And when you show these papers to the land department, they don't know. Say they cannot earn with this. They say, yeah, they did like in the past. Yeah, but now we cannot. Yeah, but they did in the past, and now we need to resolve this problem. So you feel like the person in charge here is too young. It doesn't know how it was before. Okay. And they have no book on how it was before. It's like the knowledge disappeared. Okay, and you have this struggle. So it's more about all these compliance parts that is difficult to follow for everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
AML and all this,
Yeah, I guess it's just the rate of change and growth. It's hard for people to keep up, I guess.
Yeah, and they don't give enough knowledge. I think as agent, we are being asked a lot on asking documents from client. And most of the clients, you ask them for stuff that are more private than their bank or their state where they are.
Yeah.
And they say, no, I'm not giving you this. But someone upstairs is telling me, give me this.
Yeah.
And then they don't want.
Yeah.
So how do you know? You're not someone that has the authority to force them to give you something.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes interesting conversations.
Yeah, I can imagine definitely some challenges to overcome. Talking about like specific deals now? What's your most memorable deal if there is one? I'm sure there's many. But do you have one that like stands out?
Yeah, I think it's one of the latest one that I did. So it was a full floor commercial.
Okay.
Where everything happened just before Christmas. So it was 4 or 5 months ago.
Nice.
Where the owner and the tenant, we had a meeting the day before everyone flew out.
Mm-hmm.
Shook hand, everything agreed, price agreed, everything agreed. Okay, fine. Send all the documents. Pierre draft the contract. I draft the contract. Contract is like 22, 23 pages. Agreement was that it would go to the tenant lawyer first. Usually we ask the tenant because they are corporate entities, so they have more comments than the owner most of the time. Yeah. So it goes to the tenant, feedback, few clauses to change, okay, send to the owner. Owner doesn't respond, so okay, come back in January when the day was supposed to sign. I think it was 7th of Jan. Mm-hmm. Everyone getting excited, blah, 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 call the owner. Owner is okay, fine, okay. I say, okay, I collect the check, 5 years contract, so many check to collect, VAT check, deposit check, rental check, so many checks. Company checks, you know, so it doesn't, it's not something that they can do overnight, like you and me, we meet and checks. Everything collected, contract signed by the tenant, collect everything, call the owner, no pickup, call the owner. Yeah, I'm busy, I'll call you back. Okay, tenant call, where's my contract signed? Say, I don't know, owner is taking time, I don't know what's going on. Day after, call the owner. Hi, I just sent the draft to my lawyer. There's 15 comments. Yeah. I called the tenant because you have to be open. It's at the end. The problem is you have this many documents with you that they are worth a lot of money. Yeah, of course. So you don't want to give or not give based on comments of each other. So the owners, the tenants say, okay, let's see the comments. I go to the owner, get all the comments. Most of them, the problem is he was using a lawyer. I think that was not really specialized in the real estate. It's like basic lawyer that gives you a point that they are not changing anything in the contracts. You feel like he just wants to do something to be paid. To be paid, yeah. So you do these comments, you go to the tenant lawyer, they say, what is this? Why they comment on this? I mean, they take 15 days to comment on this. So, it's like you go in this headset like this and there's nowhere to go. And then I said, okay, fine. So tenant agrees to change most of the points. I said to the owner, okay, we are okay. And the tenant says, okay, I'm not signing because I signed already. You have my check. I'm not signing unless the owner signs first. Then you have a new battle, which is the owner saying, no, I'm not signing unless the tenant signs. And where are the checks? So it's like you have to compromise on, okay, you know what, let's sit down at the table because you both want the same. You want your property rented out. They want to take the property. It's been ongoing. There's too many parties involved. So there's the lawyer of the tenant, lawyer of the owner, me as an agent, the mood of the owner, the tenant which has a CEO, a CFO, a COO, everyone implicated in a way that sometimes communication doesn't go. So it's like you get a call from someone where you just spoke to someone else 5 minutes ago. Then you put everyone at the same place. Okay, they sign, you're happy. Okay. And the funniest part was we go to Ejari and the Ejari man, he goes on the system and says property doesn't exist. Then I see the chairman of the tenant, which is signatory. He came just for Ejari, Unfortunately for new Ejaris, you have to do still in the offices. And he's looking at me like, please save me. What we do? So I asked the Ejari man, I said, look, I don't understand. No way, this property is available for the last 15 years. It exists on the system, which is never rented out. And the guy typed the wrong plot number. So when they typed, they have to put a plot number. He put the wrong plot number. So because of this, it didn't happen. So I had to show him an old Ejari for another property in the same building. And then he said, oh, I found it. So everyone's like, okay, fine. So it's, till the end, it's like he kept like this. And
you're just thinking, is this like just a destined never to happen?
And all that time, it's like all trust because obviously you get paid when everything is signed. Even for me, I make sure that everything Ejari registered all okay, because if you get your money and then for whatever reason Ejari doesn't go through, you have to refund the people. Yeah. So it's better to be paid when everything is sorted out. So it was not complicated in the way that you have to negotiate a lot. Yeah. It was just you have to deal with individuals that are not on the same frequency, never. Yeah. And you have to align them. And this is what we do somehow without.
And did you decide to get everybody to sit in a room together? Is that how you resolved it?
Yeah, that was the only way.